We'll get his reaction after touring the line that makes parts for the JSMC. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight.
U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown was in St. Mary's today visiting a manufacturing plant.
Jennifer Abreu tells us what that means for the city. And eyesore in downtown Lima has been sold. Now the plan is to turn the neglected space into a downtown bike shop. Cranker Cycling owner Kent Foltz bought the Klaus block at 401 North Main Street in Lima. The building sits at the corner of Wayne and Main. The transaction became official on Friday, but there are already big plans for the 3-story space. The first floor will be home to the shop with space in the back to work on the bikes. The second floor was previously used as a boarding house with 9 separate units. However, that will initially be used for storage. The third floor was a large ballroom and speakeasy. There are even a few details that highlight that fact. Foltz has some big ideas for the space, but he's currently focusing on the bike shop. We'll have the latest on what Ted Strickland had to say to members of Local 1219 of the UAW. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight.
Candidate for U.S. Senate and former Ohio Governor Ted Strickland was in Lima today visiting with retirees.
Strickland spoke at the UAW Local 1219's monthly meeting this afternoon about his candidacy next year. The United Auto Workers of Region 2B, which covers Ohio and Indiana, announced they're endorsing Strickland. They say Strickland has always stood on the side of working men and women. Strickland says he'll fight for the middle class and keep jobs in the U.S., highlighting his no vote against NAFTA and trade deals. Strickland says it's important for retirees to stay engaged and informed in politics. He says workers have earned their retirement and have done their part to contribute to the state's economy. We'll have the latest on the plea deal and sentencing of Donald Castle. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight.
A former Hardin County probation officer will spend a mandatory 8 years behind bars after pleading guilty to 2 counts of rape.
48-year-old Donald Castle pleaded guilty to 2 counts of rape as part of a plea deal. 5 other counts of rape and 2 counts of gross sexual imposition were dropped. Castle faced a maximum of 22 years in prison. The charges came after a 2013 investigation which found that Castle raped or had sexual contact with 1 female and 3 males, 2 of which had developmental disabilities. The judge gave Castle 3 years for the first count of rape and 5 years for the second count of rape. He was only sentenced for the 2 counts of rape against the female victim because the incidents against the other victims were dropped in the plea deal. The female victim spoke at the sentencing today, claiming she never came forward during her 6 years of abuse because of Castle's position within law enforcement. Castle was very emotional during the entire sentencing and apologized to the victim and took responsibility for his actions. He said he was remorseful for what he had done to her. Community policing is back in Lima, and the first of several substations is now open. The Lima Police Department will now have a COP office at the New Life Assembly Church at 1003 East Kibbe. Officer Aaron Rohde will be assigned to the neighborhood on a daily basis. The goal of community policing is building relationships that foster trust and help solve crime issues in the neighborhood. We'll have an update on what that may mean for the future of the Lima tank plant. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight.
The Army indicates that the Joint Systems Manufacturing Center will be around for the long haul through a multi-million-dollar upgrade for the plant.
The Army will purchase a $6.6 million machine for the facility. The new equipment is expected to be installed within the next 2 years, just in time for production of the next generation of Abrams tank. The high-speed milling machine will be used to manufacture holes and drill through thick pieces of steel. The purchase comes just a few years after the Army's suggestion to shut down the facility for 3 years to save money. The announcement is a sign that the Army is committed to the Lima plant. Physics and chemistry students from Allen East High School were invited to tour the Dana Corporation. Andrea Henderson tells us why this was such a good opportunity. We'll have the latest on the verdict from Judge David Cheney and an update on sentencing. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight.
guilty on all charges. That from Allen County Common Pleas Court Judge David Cheney to a fired Lima police officer.
28-year-old Justin Benz sat emotionless as the judge read his ruling. Guilty on all 5 charges against him. They included rape, kidnapping, and 2 sexual battery charges, all felonies, and a misdemeanor related to providing alcohol to a minor. The judge said he took into account all the evidence and testimony given at the trial. He said it came down to credibility on the stand when making his judgment. A Lima native choosing to return home to protect and serve those in his hometown. We'll have an update on the confession of the children's mother following a 3rd suspicious death. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight.
A Bell Fountain mother is arrested for murder after a 3rd child died in her care within the last 13 months.
23-year-old Brittany Pilkington is being held on 3 murder charges for killing her sons. She called 911 yesterday when her husband got home from work and found their 3-month-old baby Noah not breathing. Her other sons, a 4-year-old and a 3-month-old, also died under her care within the last year. Police say they were suspicious of the mother in the previous deaths, but there was not enough physical evidence to arrest her. According to the prosecutor, she killed her 3 sons out of jealousy because of the attention they got from their father, which she believed was more than her or her 3-year-old daughter. She used a blanket to take the lives of the boys. The daughter is now in foster services. Okay, looks good. Thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome.
And as a fellow OSU alum, I think you'll appreciate this story, and Jason too. 4 Ohio State fans take to the streets to show their Buckeye pride on Google Maps. Co-workers from the internet art company Art.com mapped out a 19-mile path to recreate the famous Script, Ohio in downtown Columbus. It took 8.5 hours to complete. According to the Columbus Dispatch, the group had to cut through the Arthur G. James Cancer Hospital to make the eye somewhat straight. The horseshoe dotted the eye. The group is looking at doing it again, but maybe next year as a fundraiser.
Ohio University students probably already did that once or twice.
No, I don't think so.
Ohio State's just catching up now.
I say they do it in Ann Arbor next.
That's probably it takes
Jeff just feels a little left out in that OSU one.
It takes them a little time up north.
The Ohio Department of Transportation District 1 has been working for months on the reconstruction of Interstate 75. They're in the 2nd phase of the project. Andrea Henderson tells us how the project is coming along. We had our fair share of rain earlier today, but now we're looking to switch to snow later tonight.
Chief Meteorologist.
Thank you, Jenna. The Allen County Fairgrounds is abuzz today. It's under 24 hours until the official opening of the 165th Allen County Fair. The Midway is shaping up as vendors are setting up, cleaning, and getting deliveries for the next 9 days. Businesses are setting up shop in the Merchant Building and around the grounds. The youth exhibits are coming together as 4-Hers bring in projects and create displays. There's something for everyone at the Allen County Fair, from rides to food to entertainment, plus 2 brand new events in the grandstands. There's something new happening every day at the Allen County Fair, but paying for those activities can get costly. Jenna Siffinger tells us how you can save your wallet and still have fun. Senator Brown continued his tour through Northwest Ohio by heading to St. Rita's Medical Center this afternoon. Jennifer Abreu tells us more. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. Jeff Fitzgerald has the Labor Day holiday off. Across the country, people are calling on police departments to outfit their officers with body cameras. The Lima Police Department is currently researching the recording devices. Trisha Bell shows us what exactly the department is doing. The city of Delphus is moving forward with 2 resolutions regarding city taxes. Both will go to a 3rd reading. Thank you, Kyle. Wapakoneta residents are faced with roadblocks throughout the city because of 2 major sewer line projects.
But he continues to claim his innocence despite a plea deal. Good evening and thanks for joining us for tonight's live newscast from the Allen County Fair. Jeff Fitzgerald has the night off.
A Lima man is sentenced to 14 years in prison for the death of Carlton Martin, but Valdez Stapleton Jr. insists that he is innocent.
Stapleton previously pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and aggravated burglary by way of an Alford plea. The plea is a guilty plea made by a person who says he's innocent of a crime, however admits the prosecution has enough evidence to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Prosecutors say Stapleton is one of 2 masked men who entered a crowded home on Oak Street in June of 2014 and opened fire. Martin was killed and 2 others were injured. The other assailant has not been identified. In another fatal crash in Mercer County, this one involving a semi in a truck just after midnight this morning. The sheriff's office says 42-year-old Andrew Hughes of Wapakoneta was killed in the crash. Deputies say Hughes was heading west on State Route 707 and didn't stop at the stop sign at the intersection of 127. His truck was struck by a northbound semi driven by 55-year-old Buniper Singh of Greenwood, Indiana. He was not hurt. The crash remains under investigation. The accident is the second fatal crash over the weekend in Mercer County and the third this year.
Alex Chapin is live at the fairgrounds to tell us more. Hi, Alex.
Hi, thanks Holly, thanks Jeff. I'm here at the four-wheel jamboree at the Allen County Fairgrounds. Now there's a lot of excitement going on here, but what we're talking about first is the Click It or Ticket campaign and seatbelt safety. First, I'm joined by Matt Dishman. He's one of the people behind the wheel of that big truck, but his first priority is safety.
Today is Youth Day at the fair, and Alexandria Chapin spent the day with the kids.
Alexandria is also here with us live at the fair. What's happening, Alexandria?
Hi Fallon, hi Jeff. That's right, today highlights the importance of youth involvement in the 4-H program as well as the DARE program.
Your News Now, Alexandria Chapin is live at the scene and joins us with the latest. Alexandria?
Thanks, Ty. As you can see, smoke is still billowing into the sky as crews are battling these blazes after 3 hours. It was called in around 1:30 this afternoon as a warehouse fire, and as Lima Fire responded, flames could be seen shooting through the roof. It didn't take long for the fire to spread. A man who was working in the building told me the fire spread throughout the building within 15 minutes. Additional departments were called in to fight the fire. The building is part of the Otis Wright and Allen County recycling companies. Fire Chief Mark Hefner says there are hydrocarbons burning, such as plastic and rubber products. They are working to contain the fire, and they're just relieved they got everyone out of the building. Chief Hefner says they will be here for a while.
Everybody was out. It was property only. They saw that it was going to be difficult to stop. There's simply not enough water to put this much fire out. So it was just, the decision was made early on, protect the exposures, protect what you can. Sometimes you have to give up the building that's actually on fire.
Hefner says crews from Lima, American Township, Bath, and Shawnee Township are all on the scene battling the blaze. Not only are they concerned with the fire itself, but they're also concerned about the proximity of the Ottawa River and contamination. And we've learned that all events at Lima Senior High School are canceled due to the proximity of the fire to the school. And Ty, I'm going to be staying here on the scene, and I'll be back at 6 with an updated report as well as a live interview with a fire official. Ty, we'll go back to you in the studio.